so, I started to notice some interesting behaviors. Last year, I wanted to go running. I tell my wife I'll be back in about an hour. I go outside the door. 2 minutes later, I open the door again. My wife says, "What's the problem? Is it raining or something?" And I said, "No, the battery is dead." What, the battery is dead? Does that mean you can't go running? I say, "Well, of course I can't go running. That's not measuring my results. It's not counting at my statistics. Why should I go running? There's just no point." A few months ago, another incident happened. I got a ticket from the police officer for jogging through a red light. I live in the city center of Utrecht. Now, I knew you're not allowed to drive through a red light, and you're not allowed to walk through a red light. Did you know you're not allowed to jog through a red light? So the police officer says, "Why did you do that?" And I said, "Well, if I would have stopped, that would have killed my average." You should have seen his face. Being hit by a bus, that would kill your average. Of course he's right. I had to pay €35 for a ticket for going through the red light. And I started to think, there's all kinds of ways where you can basically trick the system if you want to. If I wouldn't feel like running, but I wouldn't want to admit to my wife, all I could do is just quickly jog to the bar around the corner, and as long as I keep doing this with my left foot, it keeps counting, right? We've overdone it with efficiency in our organizations. We've created huge shared service centers in public sector, in the private sector, where we have enormous batches of work that move from one stage, doing something here, then an enormous batch to the next stage, doing something there, and then into a third stage, to an enormous batch over there. At no point in time, if you're in one of the earlier steps in one of those administration factories, at no point in time do you realize how your work is connected with achieving something for the customer. Michael Jackson very briefly pointed on the example, and he actually even used the same words that I use as well. He was talking about accountability. And accountability is about the highest goals of information systems and processes and controls that we have in our organization, making sure that everyone is accountable. What is accountability? Accountability is making sure that you can be open and that you are open about how you've spent the budget, how you've deployed your human resources, how you've spent your time, and make sure that it can hold scrutiny, that basically everyone can look at it and tell you that you've done a good job. That is accountability. Unfortunately, I would say, accountability is all that we have left in these huge administration factories with huge batches. We do not have a sense of responsibility anymore, figuring out what we're doing for our customers. Let's play a word game. If we have the following sentence, I am responsible, what word would usually follow after that? I am responsible for, we would say, right? I'm responsible for the administration of the tennis club that I belong to. I'm responsible for providing an income to my family. I'm responsible for certain tasks in my church. I'm responsible for raising my children. I'm responsible for something probably outside of myself. Sure, there are people that say, I'm responsible for myself only. But frankly, let's be honest, those are usually not the nicest people, and I wouldn't count them to my circle of friends. I am responsible for, and then something outside of yourself follows. In today's optimized working environment, there is no responsibility anymore. We need to take one step back and need to examine a term that we're using quite a bit as the goal of many information systems, and that term is performance management. Again, let's play a word game. The word performance. What kind of things would you think about when you hear the word performance? Think of Michael Phelps winning 10 gold medals at the Olympic Games. That is pure performance, right? Performance would be associated with blood, sweat, tears, endurance, perseverance, teamwork, going for gold, ambition, all kinds of matters of the heart, right? Things that we are truly passionate about. Passion and performance are, for me, two words that are very, very much alike. Now let's examine another word. Let's examine the word management. What terms would you think about when you hear the word management? Anyone? Who of you feels passion for your manager? I'm not. You think about controls, meetings, reports, performance indicators, rules, regulations, procedures, all matters of the mind. In a way, you could say performance comes from Venus and management comes from Mars. Let's imagine that next Monday you're starting a new job. This is pure imagination. No one gets new jobs these days anyways, just as a mind exercise. So you're starting in a new job. You've done your homework, you've spoken with most of your new colleagues, you've had the interviews with the managers, etc. And you're starting Monday morning full of energy, full of passion, full of trying to make a difference. And then after a while, you realize that you don't understand the jokes that they make. And you don't understand the way how your boss reaches certain decisions, and it's definitely not a decision that you would have taken. You don't understand how your colleagues treat customers. I'm sure it's effective and they sell stuff. It's just not your way of dealing with customers. It would take you probably 2 weeks to develop a first sense, a first feeling that these people have values that are not yours. How long would you last in that job? Month? 2 months? If you're really stubborn and badly burnt all your bridges behind you, half a year, but you wouldn't be happy. You would know after 2 or 3 weeks. How long would it take before it hits the numbers? 3 months? 6 months? A year? So tell me, what is more tangible? Values, behaviors, or financial results?